Today is the 23rd of July and this is vlog number 2. Let's get on with the show. First of all, I just want to say something quite immediate. My hair. I got a haircut last week. I think I got it done on the Friday? No, I got it done on the Saturday. And it was done in actual hairdressers rather than a barber shop. No offense to barbers, but I really don't like them. Just because every time I've gone there in the past before, I've always had my hair cut really short and I've always looked like a mole rat. Not my own fashion choices, my parents. No offense, mum and dad. Sorry. Moving ahead, later that day, I went with my girlfriend to a barbecue just a mile away from where I live, which was really cool. And it's cool for several reasons, and I will tell you exactly how it was cool right now. Number 1. There was a lot of food, and I pretty much ate almost all of it there. It was incredible. No, I'm not a pig. I just really like food. I also got to make s'mores for the first time, which was really fun, though it was quite disastrous, because what I actually did was I actually got one of those sticks that you put the marshmallows on. I'm going to call it marshmallow sticks. And I first poked it through the biscuit. We had chocolate digestives there. And basically I thought you had to poke it through and then put the marshmallow on the stick and then put the biscuit on. But apparently not, because otherwise it would just crumble away in the chimney that we were having outside. Just to quickly clarify, a chimney is like an outdoor furnace, but basically you have to light it yourself, and it's got a little chimney to it, and it has a little bit of smoke coming at the top, and some of us were actually getting our marshmallows and roasting them with the smoke rising up, which was really fun. Although I realised when I actually put my marshmallow in my s'more, it was blown up like a bubble. It pretty much exploded and it went everywhere, which was a little bit embarrassing, and it reminded me of the first time that you would have an ice cream in the middle of the summer and it's melting everywhere and you have to try to lick everything off, make sure nothing spills. It was exactly the same case for the s'more, but it was absolutely gorgeous to eat, as well as the rest of the food, but that was pretty much a highlight for me. Number 2. Before we actually ate, we went for a walk around the woods, which was right nearby the house. When I say nearby, actually it was directly behind it, but there was a pathway that led to the woods, which is about a minute down the road from where we originally were. And we actually went on this, I'd say roughly about 2-3 mile walk around these woods, through to the other side, into this area that I had never walked around before, but just happened to be so close that we could walk there. It vastly improves my geography, but when we got to the other side of it, we were around all these farms, we saw these horses, and we weren't actually too far away from the sea, because where I live very close to the sea, being in Plymouth. These woods were called Dunson Woods, so if you actually know what I'm talking about, I'd be very impressed. Unless you were local, in which case it's your responsibility and duty to know where everything is, especially since my local geography is absolutely awful. Number 3. I got to meet up with some of my friends from my local church that I hadn't seen in years and years since going to university, and everyone seems to be doing really well. Everyone was in good spirits, and it was just so good to see everyone together, as it always is, having so many people that I know that I just that for various reasons I'm not able to see as the passage of time moves on. Number 4, and yes, it is the last one for now. Me and my girlfriend actually got a lift there from her dad, and my job basically in the car was to tell him where to go, which ways to change. I checked this on Google Maps already before. Brilliant invention, and I already kind of knew where it was just following it and knowing where other things were already that I already knew how to get to, and places I already knew were certain distances around where we were, if that makes any sense at all. But I got to be the one to direct him there, and it was a fun little job. Not very stressful at all, because actually when you travel around Plymouth, it isn't that busy a place in comparison to other places. I'd say, like London, for example, or Cardiff is quite a busy place. I could go on with a list of busy places I've been to, but I don't have the time. So let's continue. I went out bowling with my mum and my brother on the Tuesday, and I came second in both games, with my little brother being the winner. And also I've been playing a lot of Pokemon this week, and again battling against him, he was also the winner. Yeah, didn't work out very well for me. In my defense, as much as I've raised a lot of my Pokemon to quite high levels, he has been incredibly lucky in Wonder Trading, which is something that you can do on the Pokemon X and Y games, which we've been playing on. I think we both have Y, and where you basically put your Pokemon up for trade, and you randomly trade with someone with a random Pokemon, but you cannot tell what it is. He's got through that about millions and millions and millions of high level legendary shiny Pokemon. So I have stood no chance whatsoever, considering that every time I've done it, I've either got a Zigzagoon or a Wurmple, which aren't very strong at all. As cute as they are, they're not really going to face well against Pokemon that are supposed to be like gods of time and space and the sea and like the earth, and basically just everything that has the potential to crush you. The other half of the time I've been keeping up with my studies. So in this case, this last week, I haven't actually been doing so much on the classical dynamics, because I thought in order to be a very good mathematical and theoretical physicist, which is what I want to be, I have to cover a lot of the basics in other areas too. So what I've been doing is I've been revising over some electrodynamics over this last week. The very last thing, I could even show you the bookwork I've been doing. The very last thing that I've been looking at, let's get this over here, is the forces between, I'll show you here, look at that, it's beautiful, isn't it? The forces, the magnetic forces between currents that are following along certain pathways, not necessarily straight wires, although that is something that I looked on previously to that formula just now. Which is actually really funny, because magnetic forces can't even exist without moving currents. And basically, electromagnetism, it's kind of in the name, is separated into the study of two things: electricity and magnetism. Electricity, or electrostatics, being the study of just interactions between charges themselves, not moving necessarily, dictates electrical forces, and magnetic forces actually happen because of moving charges. So the magnetic forces wouldn't even be there if you didn't have any current running through wires. But it's incredibly interesting, because say if I have if my fingers are wires, if currents are traveling in both of these wires going upwards, then basically mass dictates that there's going to be an attractive force between these two wires. But say, for example, if I switch the current in one, so say it's going down, then they're likely to repel. Before that, I was working for hours and hours on something called magnetic dipoles, and actually proving, using Maxwell's equations, that magnetic monopoles can't exist, at least in the framework of what I've been studying so far. Because I know it's been a fairly, well, at least within the last few years, it's been a fairly recent discovery that magnetic monopoles have been discovered to exist under certain extreme conditions, involving some elements in quantum mechanics that I just wouldn't ever get. But basically, as far as I can tell, magnetic monopoles, which you can imagine are just like balls of just little points of magnetism. In the same sense that you can have electric monopoles, which are just pretty much electric charges. Magnetic monopoles only exist in areas of space called spin ice, where it is so cold that, as far as I can tell, the degeneracy level of the atom, which is dictated by quantum mechanics, is I think very, very low, or just at a certain level for it not to go all over the place and be unpredictable. Hence, a magnetic flow can be created in some way. Again, it's something I'd love to look into more, because I just don't really know much about it. But I have to keep that in mind, that magnetic monopoles do exist in some places when I'm reading this book and several others. This is the book that I've been reading over this last week. It's called Introduction to Electrodynamics. This one happens to be the 3rd edition, and this is by David J. Griffiths. Again, as a weekly book recommendation, I definitely would recommend this, even for anybody starting electrodynamics from scratch for the first time, even if your knowledge of maths isn't very good. It's very, very progressive. It doesn't progress too quickly. It's got several exercises and problems that you can work on in the middle of it that doesn't necessarily make it too daunting to move on with the content, because basically that in the first chapter of it, let me just check, the first chapter of it is a massive 53-page chapter on vector analysis, which is something I have to learn in my maths degree, which is an incredibly hard subject. But actually saying that, without vector analysis and also Einstein notation, I would not have been able to calculate the general magnetic dipole moment, the magnetic field for general magnetic field for a magnetic dipole moment. Sorry, it's a bit of a tongue twister. I wouldn't have been able to work that out if not for vector analysis and Einstein notation. It saved me so much time, even though it's still fairly difficult to remember. I still find it difficult now, even though it's a second year topic. It's something that it's one of those things I guess you have to work at really, really well, but in this book it does describe only really what you need to know, and it's actually incredibly fun, and not too soon you actually get on to the physics of everything, but you're in a position to be able to describe and solve any problem that comes your way. Hopefully you get to feel like you're very prepared, which is a nice feeling to get. You feel very satisfied when you actually get through this book and you understand everything that they're talking about. Plus, there are topics such as electrodynamics in relativity, which sound really interesting, that I would love to get to, that I'm still working my way to get to. Again, this is another little target for me. There is also a section in the book which talks about electrodynamics of to do with electromagnetic waves and the sort of vector equations that encompass the work on that, which sounds really, really cool too. Looking at the time, I probably should getting off soon, because I need to start packing for a camping trip that I'm heading off with my dad and the rest of the family for on the Sunday. We're actually going on a camping trip to Cornwall. Don't know where specifically, so that should be really fun, but I'm going to be away from Sunday to Wednesday, so I'm still going to be able to do this on the Thursday. It will just mainly be about camping. Hopefully you like that kind of thing. Before that, I have actually 2 YouTube recommendations. One that I've been asked to give out, and one that I would definitely recommend myself anyway. The first, respectively, is my brother's channel, Zephyr HD. It's a gaming channel, and he goes on Minecraft, and he goes on several other different games. The quality of the videos that he makes, I think, is incredibly outstanding, and he's getting very, very good with the commentary. is scary to actually see how professional he can get with what he does. I'm sure he would really love and appreciate more subscribers and people watching his channel, so please go and check that out. I will try to put that in the description box below, and yeah, you'll be able to watch him in full glory. The second one is a YouTuber who's known as Veritasium, who just talks about a lot of cool science concepts, probably in a way that is much more clearer than I could ever give. But he is just so cool, and I absolutely love him to pieces. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that man. It's just so fun to watch. Just go watch him. It's just so cool. And as always, if you like what I do, don't forget to rate, comment nicely, hopefully, and subscribe to my channel. It will be very much appreciated. I must now say goodbye to you guys momentarily, as hopefully I will see you on Thursday once again, for the joy of packing a bag. That's one of my favourite things in life to do, but it's unfortunately got to be done, and I think I've put it off long enough, considering I've known about this trip for weeks. As always, I wish you all well for this next week, and I will see you later. Bye!